Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got a story for you that will send a little shiver down your spine, but also warm your heart. It's a tale about courage, friendship, and a ghost who wasn't what he seemed. So, grab your comfiest blanket, maybe a cup of hot chocolate, and let's dive into the mystery of the ghost school. Picture this, a small, quiet town, the kind where everyone knows everyone. At the heart of this town stood an old, classic school building. By day, it was completely normal. You could hear the faint echo of children's laughter, the shuffle of feet in the hallways, and the gentle scratch of chalk on blackboards. It had everything a school should have: rows of wooden desks, shelves filled with books full of stories and knowledge, and big windows that let the sunshine pour in. It was a place of learning, a place of growth. But when the sun went down, the stories changed. As evening approached, the townspeople would lower their voices and share whispers about the old school. They do say that once the last school bell rang and the final teacher locked the gates for the night, the building transformed. It became a ghost school. According to the town legends, as darkness fell over the town, strange things would begin to happen. The heavy front doors, which were solid and sturdy during the day, would start to creak open and shut on their own, making a slow, eerie sound that echoed through the empty streets. The windows, usually still, would start to squeak and rattle in their frames, even on nights when there wasn't a single breath of wind. And the most chilling part, the lights inside the classrooms would flicker on and off, one by one, as if someone or something was moving through the empty halls. The whispers grew louder. "There's a ghost in that school," they'd say, and the local kids would dare each other to even walk past the gates after dark. Now, in this very town lived a young boy named Mike. Mike was known for being brave, maybe a little too brave for his own good. He had a curious mind and a mischievous glint in his eye. Whenever he heard the townsfolk talking about the ghost school, he'd just scoff. "Ghosts? Seriously?" he'd say with a roll of his eyes. "I don't believe in ghosts. It's probably just the wind or old pipes." But deep down, the stories intrigued him. The mystery was too tempting to ignore. So, one fateful night, Mike made a bold decision. He decided he was going to settle the matter once and for all. He was going to sneak into the school and see the truth with his very own eyes. Under the silvery light of the moon, Mike crept towards the old school. The air was still and silent, which only made every little sound seem 10 times louder. He found a window that was left slightly ajar, and with a bit of a struggle, he managed to pull himself up and slip inside. He landed softly on the cold floor of an empty classroom. It was pitch black, and the only light came from the moonbeams slicing through the dusty windows. He stood still for a moment, his heart thumping in his chest. So far, so good. No ghosts. He took a quiet step forward, and then another, his footsteps echoing faintly in the vast silence. He tiptoed down the main hallway, peering into the dark classrooms. Everything looked normal, just empty and still. He started to feel a little smug. See? he whispered to himself. No ghosts. But just as the thought crossed his mind, a long, mournful sound echoed from the end of the hall. Woo-woo, Mike froze, his blood turning to ice. He jumped back, his heart leaping into his throat. It was a real, classic ghost sound, just like in the stories. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing himself for whatever was coming next. He expected chains to rattle or a spooky figure to appear, but instead of another wail, a different sound filled the air. It was a burst of cheerful laughter. Hey ha ha ha! Mike opened his eyes, completely bewildered. Standing at the end of the hall was a figure, and it was laughing its head off. As Mike's eyes adjusted to the dim light, he could see the figure more clearly. It was exactly what you'd imagine a ghost to look like, a floating white sheet, big glowing eyes. But the strange part was the enormous, friendly smile plastered on its face. The ghost floated a little closer, its laughter dying down to a chuckle. Did I scare you? The ghost asked, its voice surprisingly gentle. Sorry about that. I get a little carried away sometimes. Don't be scared. I'm not a bad ghost. Mike just stood there, his mouth wide open. He was completely shocked. A ghost that apologizes, a ghost that laughs. A ghost can be good. He finally managed to stammer out. The ghost's smile widened. It did a little flip in the air and then floated down to hover right in front of Mike. Of course, my name is Timmy, the ghost said cheerfully. I'm a happy ghost. Mike couldn't believe what he was seeing and hearing. This wasn't the scary monster the townspeople whispered about. This was Timmy. Mike's fear slowly melted away, replaced by a wave of curiosity. Timmy the ghost was nothing like he'd expected. He watched as Timmy zipped around the classroom, his white sheet trailing behind him like a cape. Timmy wasn't haunting the school, he was enjoying it. He floated over to one of the little wooden desks and sat down, pretending to be a student. He picked up a book from the desk, held it upside down, and squinted at it with a puzzled look before bursting into laughter again. Then he zoomed over to the big black board at the front of the room. He grabbed a piece of chalk with his see-through fingers and started drawing. But he wasn't drawing spooky messages or scary faces. He was drawing silly pictures: a cat wearing a hat, a car with square wheels, and a flower that was singing. Mike found himself giggling. Timmy then tried to solve a simple math problem left on the board, but he got the answer wrong. He looked at his chalky mistake, then back at Mike, and said with a ghostly sigh, "Oops, even ghosts make mistakes." Mike couldn't hold it in anymore. He burst out laughing, a loud, genuine laugh that filled the empty school. The idea of a ghost making a math error was just too funny. After a while, the laughter subsided, and a comfortable silence settled between the boy and the ghost. Timmy floated down and sat on the edge of a teacher's desk, his cheerful expression becoming a little more serious. He looked around the classroom with a sense of nostalgia in his glowing eyes. "You know," Timmy began softly, "I once studied in this very school, when I was a boy, just like you." Mike listened quietly, sensing the shift in mood. This was a different side of Timmy. I wasn't very good at my lessons, Timmy continued, his voice barely a whisper. I was weak in my studies. I tried really hard, but things just didn't click for me. The other kids, they used to laugh at me. They'd call me names and make fun of me when I got an answer wrong. It really hurt my heart. Mike looked at Timmy and felt a pang of sympathy for the little ghost boy he used to be. Timmy looked up, his glowing eyes meeting Mike's. I never want any other child to feel scared or sad in this school. That's why I come here at night. Not to haunt it, but to take care of it. To make sure it's a happy place. A warm smile spread across Mike's face. All the scary stories, the creaking doors, the flickering lights. It was just Timmy, the friendly ghost, looking after his old school. You're a really good ghost, Timmy, Mike said sincerely. Timmy smiled back, a gentle, grateful smile. Thanks, Mike, he replied. I've learned that being good or bad isn't about how you look, or if you're a ghost or a human. It's about what's in your heart. Mike thought about that. It was a simple lesson, but a powerful one. It didn't matter that Timmy was a ghost covered in a white sheet. What mattered was his kindness. As they talked, they noticed the first faint rays of dawn beginning to peek through the windows. The dark blue of the night sky was slowly turning into a soft, pale orange. Morning was coming. Timmy began to look more transparent, his form starting to fade with the rising sun. It's almost time for me to go, he said, his voice getting softer. He floated over to Mike one last time. Before I leave, I want you to remember something, Timmy said. Be brave, always be kind, and never ever laugh at others for being different. Everyone is fighting their own battles. With those final words, Timmy gave Mike a friendly wave and slowly dissolved into the morning light, leaving the classroom peaceful and quiet once more. Mike stood there for a moment, the ghost's words echoing in his mind. Then, filled with a new sense of purpose and a secret, wonderful friendship, he ran home as fast as he could, his heart full of happiness. From that day on, Mike wasn't afraid of the old school at night. And when he heard the other kids telling scary stories about it, he would just smile, because he knew the truth. He'd tell them, with a twinkle in his eye, "You're right, ghosts are real. But not all ghosts are scary." And that's the story of Mike and Timmy. It reminds us that things aren't always as they seem, and that the greatest courage is found in understanding and kindness. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind. Bye for now.